Good morning. I'm Kwesi in Hope, optometrist at Bishop Akun Memorial Christian Eye Center in Cape Coast, and I'm presenting on the topic of a prescription of antibiotics for acute conjunctivitis, a call for action to prevent antibiotic resistance in Ghana. The problem remains that overuse and inappropriate use of antibiotics is a risk factor for antibiotic resistance. Again, there was scanty data on antibiotic use for acute conjunctivitis in Ghana, which informed our study. This was a cross-sectional study between January and December 2021 at BAMSEC. 201 electronic medical reports of acute conjunctivitis were assessed. Antibiotic prescriptions, their appropriateness, and the categories using the WHO antibiotic classification were assessed. Of 3,708 conjunctivitis that were recorded, 201 were labeled as acute conjunctivitis in the electronic medical records. 55% of these were prescribed antibiotics. Of those who were prescribed antibiotics, 29% were inappropriately prescribed, which translates to 3 in every 10 people who came to the clinic and who were prescribed antibiotics who shouldn't have received any antibiotics in the first place. Using the WHO antibiotic classification, the first line of antibiotics with low resistance potential, classified as access, it's recommended that we prescribe more than 60% from this category. In our study, we observed that Tetracycline and Gentamycin were prescribed a combined 44%. Using the second category, which is watch, that has critically important antibiotics with high resistance potential, it's recommended that less than 40% are prescribed from this category. Ciprofloxacin and Tobramycin made up 56% from this category. There were no antibiotic prescriptions from the third category. There is evidence that overuse of antibiotics with high resistance potential continues to occur at Bishop Akun Memorial Christian Eye Center. There is increased risk of antibiotic resistance and an increased risk of eye complications and cost of care. We have the following as recommendations: training of prescribers to see the danger and be aware of the risk involved in prescription of antibiotics with high resistance potential. The systematic monitoring by the antibiotic stewardship teams at the local level to ensure proper use of antibiotics, and then the commissioning of more studies by the Ghana Eye Care Secretariat to increase the body of evidence to inform decision on the management of acute conjunctivitis with antibiotics. The key message remains that we are overprescribing critically important antibiotics that have a high resistance potential in the management of acute conjunctivitis, and this calls for active antibiotic stewardship. We acknowledge these bodies who have been influential and resourceful in our study. This is a resource material that was used. I am Kwesi in Hope, and this is my email address. Thank you very much.